Hello! Today we are at Lesson 3 and our topic is about fitness tests. Fitness tests are designed to assess what level of fitness you are currently in and where you can possibly improve at. Whether your goal is to lose some unwanted pounds, increase your energy, or reduce your health risks, these tests are sure to give you the enough information to motivate and help you reach your goals. Get ready today by wearing the most comfortable clothing you have for a workout, as the tests are requiring your muscle actions. Good luck! In this lesson, you should be able to, number 1, determine your current level of fitness. Second is to know the different tests that can be performed for each health-related fitness component. Third, follow instructions and perform the different fitness tests for each health-related fitness component. Fourth, accomplish and record your fitness testing results. And lastly, determine which fitness component you are weak at and where you can improve on. What is the purpose of performing these fitness tests? The answers are very simple. Fitness tests are necessary to be performed before any exercise so that you would know your level of fitness. It will actually determine how your body is currently working and how it reacts to loads placed upon it at given situations. It will also set the standards for your overall progress. Knowing where you are weak and strong at can determine the pace at how your active lifestyle will go about. These tests are a good start for you to be aware what you need to do in order to be successful in achieving a healthier lifestyle. Just be guided later with the proper instructions so you can be successful in this lesson. Today, our focus will be about performing the following tests to determine your current physical activity level. First is body composition, where you will get your height, weight, compute your body mass index, and determine your waist-hip ratio. Second is the test for your CV endurance, which is the 3-minute step test. You will learn how to get your heart rate before exercise as well as your heart rate after exercise, which will determine your current cardiorespiratory capacity. The third test will determine your lower body's flexibility, where you will perform the sit and reach test. The fourth and fifth tests include determining your muscular strength and endurance, where the push-up test will determine your upper body strength and endurance, while the crunch test will determine your abdominal or core's endurance. There will be no quiz at the end of the lesson. The results of your fitness tests will be considered as a 15-item quiz. In order to get this score, you must submit a result of your tests using the fitness test data sheet. You are also required to submit videos of yourself performing each of the specific tests, which will also be equivalent to 15 points. The details of this will be discussed further in the lesson. The final scoring of the tests are as follows: fitness test data sheet for 15 points and your fitness test videos for 15 points as well, a total of 30 points. These scores will be considered as a major activity for this course. Know that the tests will take at least 30 minutes of your time and at most an hour, depending on how seriously you will pay attention to all the necessary instructions before your execution. I suggest that you go through everything once. Watch the video and look at the pictures. Then stand up and perform each. You are free to go back anytime you wish, should you have trouble in performing the tests, and review how each are performed. Most fitness centers have trained staff who are well capable of evaluating all these things, but they tend to be too expensive. If you currently don't have the means to perform these activities within a facility, don't worry. You can always do these tasks at home, and we will discuss the results of each to determine your current level of fitness. Some tests require you to have a partner. You can ask the help of a friend, a family member, or any available person for you to perform the tasks. What's important is you follow the instructions well so that you will get the most accurate results for yourself. After all, this test is for you and only you. The best thing to do is to find an open space, your home, a park, a sports center maybe, where you can perform each specific activity. Again, all the activities you need to perform in this lesson will usually take between 1 to 3 minutes of your time. Follow the instructions from the video to make sure that you are performing each test correctly, and you will get the most accurate results. You can use the link at the bottom of this lesson to record your score on your fitness results data sheet. This will serve as a record for you to be able to keep track of your progress. Along the lesson, you will be reminded to fill out the data once you are done with each test. Here is a sample of the fitness tests data sheet. There are instructions and tables provided so that you will be guided on how to fill it out. So, good luck and enjoy learning about your current physical activity level. I hope that everything goes well and this would be a good start for your lifetime of fitness. Let's start with body composition. As discussed during Lesson 2, body composition refers to your overall physical structure. The tests you will do for this component will determine this through the height, weight, body mass index, and waist-hip ratio tests. Follow the instructions on how to perform each and record your score in the test result sheet. You need to secure the following materials for this test to be successful. First is a measuring tape, which will be used for the different measurements. Second is a calculator, which will be used for your body mass index and waist-hip ratio computations. And lastly, you need a weighing scale, which will be used for your weight measurements. I'm sure you are very familiar with your height. For the purpose of this test, let's start easy. Your height usually comes in the feet and inches measurements. Say for example, you are 5 feet 2 inches tall. Put it on your test result sheet as 5'2". What was your score? Were you in the 5 feet range or lower than that? On average, a regular person stands upright within the ranges of 5 and 5'9", or on rare occasions, 5'11". Our heights vary through our genes. When one or both of your parents are tall, chances are you will inherit this trait in your genes, and you can be tall as well. This is the reason why you see people who are taller or smaller than you are. Your genes are the biggest factor that can contribute to your height's unique measurement. Another factor that can affect your height is your ethnicity. It is actually a fact that Westerners possess taller height ranges compared to Asians. And the last factor that can affect your height is your gender. Men tend to be taller than women, and it is a given design of nature because of the tissue structures that we have. Men are more muscular than women, and they have a hormone called testosterone that are secreted within their bodies, which contribute greatly to their size and build. These factors contribute to your height measurement. Which factor do you think is the biggest contributor to your current stature? Are all 3 factors contributors to your height difference? Knowing this value, we must now convert this height measurement of feet into inches, and later into meters. This is because we will use this later in our computations for your body mass index. What is your height? Try computing along using your own height measurements by being guided with the example. You will be needing a calculator for this just to be sure that your answers are correct. Let's start with converting the height measurement of 5'2" into the inches unit of measure. Note that the conversion for 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Therefore, the solution is 5 feet times 12 inches, and the answer would now be 60 inches. Now you know that 5 feet is the same with 60 inches, we continue converting the rest of the height measurement. You are now left with 2 inches from the 5 feet 2 inches measurement. What you need to do is to simply add your previous answer of 60 to the equation. Therefore, you will have 2 inches plus 60 inches, and the final answer would now be 62 inches. The solution and answer does not end here. Later in the lesson, you will see that BMI requires you to have a measurement of your height with meters as the unit of measure. Let's now proceed to the next part of the equation. In order to do this, you will then further convert your height in inches into meters. Note that the conversion for 1 inch is equal to 0.0254 meters. This means that you simply multiply 0.0254 meters to 62 inches. The formula would now be 62 inches times 0.0254 meters, and your final answer will be 1.57 meters. What this means is that when you stand 5 feet 2 inches tall, your height in meters is equal to 1.57 meters. Record your score in the fitness test data sheet as soon as you are finished with converting your height measurement. The way to record this is by simply writing your height in feet and inches to its conversion of meters in the results table, like this example. What was your height? Did you yield a result greater or lower than this example? Check and see if your results are accurate by matching it with this chart. We proceed to the next test, which is your weight measurement. Make sure to secure a regular weighing scale. If you do not currently have any, you can ask some of your friends and family members who might have regular weighing or bathroom scales that you can use. You need to take a snapshot or a picture of yourself just like the one shown here. You can use a camera phone and upload it here in the website afterwards. Most regular scales use pounds as its unit of measure, but for the purpose of the body mass index, we are going to use kilograms as the metric system of your weight measurement. If you do not have a weighing scale that measures your weight in kilograms, it's alright. You will learn how to convert it later, just the same that we did with your height measurements. Here are the general instructions for getting your weight. First is that you need to remove your shoes and other accessories you have on your body, like watches and bracelets, that might be heavy enough to alter your weight measurement. Second is to step on the scale with your weight fully concentrated on it. Third is to make sure that you are very still to prevent the scale from moving. Then, check and see your weight on the scale using kilograms as your unit of measure. Lastly, take a photo of your weight from the scale, then record your score on the test result sheet. In this part of the lesson, you need to get your calculator again, because we will convert weight measurements in pounds to kilograms and vice versa. You can compute along the way using your own weight measurement while being guided by the instructions. In the example, the person weighs 115 pounds. If you want to know his weight in kilograms, you can use this formula and divide your weight in pounds by 2.2, like this one. 115 pounds divided by 2.2, and your answer is 52.27 kilograms. Round off the value to make it a whole number, and the result is that the person currently weighs 52 kilograms. For curiosity's sake that you want to convert your weight in kilograms back to your weight in pounds, the formula will be in reverse, which means that instead of dividing, you will multiply 2.2 to your kilogram weight, which would now look like this. Your weight in kilogram times 2.2 is equal to your weight in pounds. From the example, it would be 52.27 kilograms times 2.2, and the answer is now 115 pounds all over again. Do not forget to record your weight measurement. Just like in this example, you will put your weight in pounds and its corresponding weight in kilogram conversion on the results table. What is your current weight? Are you happy about the results that the weighing scale gave you? Or were you shocked to find out your current weight? Are you heavier or lighter now compared to the last time you measured? For both of your height and weight measurements, just leave the fitness zone table blank. We'll get to that later in the lesson. Let's proceed to the next body composition test, which is your body mass index. Since we do not have a bioelectrical impedance analyzer, like the one I mentioned in Lesson 2, we will rely on the body mass index test instead. The body mass index, or BMI, is a measurement of your body fat based on your height and your current weight. This test directly determines your tendencies to acquire possible health-related diseases like heart diseases, stroke, and cancer, basing from a nationally accepted standard that you will see later. You can calculate your BMI by simply following this formula: your weight in kilograms over your height in meters squared. This means that you will simply divide your weight in kilograms to your height in meters squared. Just like what we did a while back with your height and weight, try performing your own calculations while listening intently to the instructions. During this portion of the test, you need to use a calculator. Let's look at it closely using the examples a while ago to compute for the body mass index. In the example, the person has the following height and weight measurements: a weight of 52 kilograms and a height of 1.57 meters. Recall that the formula for computing BMI is this: your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. Let's now put the values to resemble the formula. Since you are required to square your height in meters, the formula looks like this: 52 kilograms divided by 1.57 meters squared. Once 1.57 meters is squared, the formula then turns into 52 kilograms divided by 2.48 meters squared. And the answer for this will yield a kilogram per meter squared unit of measure. The result is now 20.9677419 kilogram meters squared. Always get two values after the decimal point and round off that value of your final answer, which is now 20.97 kilogram per meter squared. What score did you get? What do you think does this value mean? As mentioned a while ago, BMI determines your total body fat based on your height and current weight measurements. Below is a table which shows your predisposal to diseases based on your body fat measurements. You are classified under the obese or high-risk category if your BMI falls over 30 kilograms per meter squared. You are classified under the overweight category if your BMI falls between 25 to 29.9 kilogram per meter squared. You are classified under the normal weight category if your BMI falls between 18.5 to 24.9. And lastly, you are classified under the underweight category if your BMI falls less than 18 kilograms per meter squared. Basing from the example a while back, the person has a 20.97 kilograms per meter squared range of BMI. What do you think is his classification based on this standard shown? Looking at it closely, a 20.97 kilogram meter squared BMI falls between the ranges of 18.5 to 24.9 kilograms per meter squared. This simply means that currently, this person is in the normal weight category in reference to the standards. For this reason, he is not prone to health-related diseases associated with body fat. How about your results? Where do you fall from these classifications? Are you obese? Overweight? Do you have a normal weight, or maybe you are underweight? When you are finished with this test, record your result on the fitness test data sheet this way. First is the conversion of your height in feet to inches. Second is the conversion of your height in inches to meters. Third is your BMI solution. Fourth is your BMI final answer. And lastly, on the fitness zone table, indicate your BMI result in comparison to the BMI standards. Now let us proceed to the last fitness test that measures your body composition, which is the waist to hip ratio. This very simple test is designed to measure the ratio of the circumference of your hip and your waist. Just like the body mass index, this test is taken to determine whether you are also at high risk for diseases that are associated with fat and weight. As discussed in Lesson 2, studies have proven that the bigger your abdomen area is, the higher your risks are in getting health-related diseases like heart diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, among others. Fat concentrated within the abdominal walls make it harder for internal processes to occur in our bodies. Instead of blood flowing directly to the internal organs and muscles, blood is being blocked by fat deposits that are thick and very greasy. These characteristics of fat result to different blockages that are formed within blood vessel walls, which cause different diseases. The materials you need for the waist-hip ratio test is a measuring tape and a calculator. Follow the general instructions and do not forget to record your score on your fitness test data sheet. In measuring for your waist and hip measurements, you might need the help of a partner or any available person to guide you in performing the test. But if you don't have anyone available at the moment, you can use a mirror to view yourself properly while following the different steps. Start the test by ensuring the proper position and by following some guidelines. First is to avoid wearing bulgy, thick, or loose clothing to ensure accurate results. Next one is that, as much as possible, try to expose the body part being measured by wearing either a spandex or any other stretchable or thin clothing materials. Third is to always make measurements with your feet together. Fourth, remember to place your arms at the sides elevated only high enough to allow measurements. And lastly, record your score using centimeters as your unit of measure. Let's start with your waist measurement. In this test, you are supposed to find your natural waist or the smallest circumference of your abdominal area. You should be able to locate this by looking at your abdominals in the mirror or by placing 2 fingers above your navel or belly button. Then, grab the tape measure and wrap it around your waist. Record your score with centimeters as your unit of measure and place the values up to the nearest millimeters. Example is 26.5 centimeters. If in case the waist is hard to locate because of a large abdominal circumference, what you can do is to just place 2 or 3 fingers on top of your navel or belly button. Then, wrap the tape measure around the area. And finally, also record your score using centimeters as your unit of measure and place the values up to the nearest millimeters. Example is 41.5 centimeters. Here are some notes that you might want to remember for you to have more accurate results. First is to avoid sucking your stomach in and just relax your abdominal area. This way, you can really get your correct waist measurement. And always, make sure that there is at least a finger or 2 finger distance between the tape measure and your body. Avoid wrapping the tape measure too tight on your body. Otherwise, you will find this very uncomfortable and your results will be very inaccurate. Now, let's proceed to the next process of the test. Let's try to get your hip measurement. During this part of the test, you will still need your measuring tape in order for you to get your hip measurement. You can ask the assistance of a partner for your results to be more accurate, or you can simply view yourself in the mirror just like in the previous process with your waist measurement. You start the test by first locating the maximum circumference of your buttocks. This is the biggest bulging tip of your buttocks that can be seen better when you are in a side view position. Then, you will wrap the tape measure around that area. The best way to do this if you are alone is by standing side view in front of a mirror. If you have a partner present, he or she should position himself beside your body while measuring. Lastly, just the same with your waist measurement, you will record your score using centimeters as your unit of measure and also place the values up to the nearest millimeters. Example is 38.5 centimeters. Just the same with your waist measurement, in order for you to get more accurate results, you should make sure that there is at least a finger or 2-finger distance between the tape measure and your body. Do not wrap the tape measure too tight on your hips or else your results will become inaccurate. What were your waist and hip measurements? Did you have a hard time measuring yourself? Were you with a partner during the activity? What was the biggest hip and waist measurements you've ever had? How about the smallest? Let's try to analyze the data that you have collected by computing for your waist-hip ratio. In this portion of the test, you need to get your calculator again because we are going to compute for your waist-hip ratio. I am going to use an example for you to better understand this part of the lesson. During the explanation, try to also compute for your own waist-hip ratio. Let's look at it now. If, for example, Jane has the waist measurement of 27 centimeters and her hip measurement is 38 centimeters, to determine her waist-hip ratio, she needs to simply divide her waist measurement with her hip measurement using this formula. Her solution would now be 27 centimeters divided by 38 centimeters. Calculating the answer, the solution would now yield 0.71. What does this value mean? What value did you get? Did you get a value greater than 1 or a value lower than this example? Just like your BMI, this test also determines how high your risks are for obtaining health-related diseases. In order to do this, you can compare your results using the waist-hip ratio table. Notice that the scores for men and women vary. This is because women tend to have more fat tissues concentrated within their body to support different bodily processes like the development of mammary glands and for pregnancy as well. Analyzing the data from the example, Jane's waist-hip ratio result of 0.71 puts her under which classification? Looking at the table closely, 0.71 is between the range of less than or equal to 0.79, which puts Jane at a low risk for obtaining health-related diseases. What does your test results reveal? Which classification are you in? Record your score on the fitness test datasheet this way. First is, you need to fill out the data of your waist measurement. Second is to fill out the data of your hip measurement. Third is to place in the results table your waist-hip ratio solution and your final answer. Lastly, in the fitness zone table, indicate which zone you are currently in basing from the national standards. Those are the tests which determine your body composition. How well did you do in the test? Are you currently at low risk for health-related diseases, or you are the opposite? Based on our discussion in Lesson 2, what was the best way on how you can improve body composition? What must you do to improve on this component of fitness? What activities can you perform to increase your body's fat-burning capacity? I hope you still remembered that it is only through maintaining a sensible diet and engaging in regular physical activity or exercise that you can resolve your body composition. Alternating cardio training with resistance training are only the best ways to decrease your excess body fat. This way, you are assured of decreasing your risks of obtaining health-related diseases associated with excessively high non-essential fat tissues. Now, let's proceed to the next health-related component of fitness, which is cardiovascular endurance. The test which is used to measure this component is the 3-minute step test. This test is designed to measure how well your heart and lungs work together to supply your body with the enough oxygen it needs during movement. It also tests how well your heart recovers after an exercise. The more fit you are, the quicker your heart rate will return to normal. And of course, the less fit you are, the more your heart exerts effort to return your body into its normal state. For this test, you would need the following materials. First is your step box. If it's not available, you can just look for a 12-inch bench or an available staircase. Second is a stopwatch. If you do not have this, you can just use a regular watch to check for the time of the test. And lastly, a partner is optional to watch over the time while you are performing the test. You can always perform this on your own. In this portion of the test, it is important to note that the normal heart rate before exercise should be between 60 to 100 beats a minute. Generally, a lower heart rate at rest implies more efficient heart function and better cardiovascular fitness. For example, a well-trained athlete might have a normal resting heart rate closer to 40 beats a minute. Later, you will learn how to get your heart rate. Do not use your thumb in doing so, because this part of the body has its own pulse, which will definitely make your heart rate results inaccurate. Before the test, you need to get your heart rate before exercise by palpating your carotid artery that is located just right under either sides of your jaw. What this is a baseline that measures the effort exerted by your heart when you are at rest. Do this by using your index and middle finger to feel your heartbeat from the carotid artery. Did you find it? Now, the next thing you need to do is to count the number of thud sounds your heart is doing. Use a stopwatch or a regular watch and count your heartbeat for a full minute. After doing so, record your score in the fitness test data sheet and use BPM or beats per minute as your unit of measure. In the fitness zone table, indicate whether your heart rate falls under, below normal zone, where your heart rate is less than 60 beats per minute, or maybe you are in the normal zone, where your heart rate is between 60 to 100 beats per minute, or probably you are in the high zone, where your heart rate is greater than 100 beats per minute. Did you get to feel your heartbeat from your carotid artery? Was your heart beating fast, or it seems that it is at a regular pace? What was your result? Which fitness zone does your heart rate fall into? Is it below normal or very high compared to the standards? Or maybe you are somewhere in between. Whatever it is, don't forget to record your score. Now, let's proceed to the actual 3-minute step test. Here are the general instructions. Set your watch or stopwatch to 3 minutes. Then, simply step up and down the step box, bench, or staircase. Whatever you have at the moment, as long as it measures 12 inches off of the floor, it will do. Take note that the sequence in performing this test is to step your right foot first on the box, followed by your left foot. Then, bring your right foot down, followed by your left. Do this sequence continuously for 3 full minutes. Another thing is that you need to make sure that the soles of your feet are touching the surface of the benchmark fully. Otherwise, your test results will be inaccurate. As soon as the 3-minute mark approaches, get ready to get your heart rate after exercise the same way that you palpated your heart rate before exercise. Also do this palpation for a full minute. Now take a look at the video again and observe how each of the instructions are performed. Did you notice the sequencing of the feet? How about the placement of the feet on the benchmark? Now try performing this activity on your own. Also, take a video of yourself performing the test using the same angle that is shown here in our lesson today. This way, you can be easily evaluated if you are performing the task correctly or incorrectly. You will upload this video together with your fitness test result sheets at the end of this lesson. When the test is done, you can look at the charts to check and see where your cardiovascular endurance level falls into. The numbers that you will see all indicate heart rate measurements with unit of measure of BPM or beats per minute. Record it immediately on the fitness test sheet. Let's look at this example. Assuming that you are a male who is 20 years old and your heart rate after exercise is 82. You will look at the 18 to 25 age column. What is your current fitness zone? If you answer that you are in the good range, this simply means that your CV endurance is properly at work. In simplest terms, your heart recovered quickly from the bout of continuous activity that you have performed, and your cardiorespiratory endurance is currently in good shape. Now, let's take a look at the ratings for women based on their age. Assuming that you are a female who is 20 years old and your heart rate after exercise is 80. Now, take a look at the 18 to 25 age column. What is your current fitness zone? If you answer that you are in the excellent range, this would mean that you have recovered quickly from the short bout of exercise. Your heart and your lungs are coordinating properly to return your body into its normal state. How about you? How did you do in this CV endurance test? Which zone does your heart rate after exercise fall into? Record your score in the fitness test data sheet. Indicate your heart rate after the activity in the results table. And in the fitness zone table, indicate your CV endurance range based on the test standards. Again, the 3-minute step test was designed for you to generally gauge your overall cardiovascular endurance. It measures your rate of recovery and how well your lungs and heart work together to supply your body with the enough oxygen it needs during movement. Does your heart rate after exercise fall between the fitness zones of below average and very poor? If this is so, then it might be high time to consider improving your endurance. As mentioned during Lesson 2, endurance trainings are the best type of exercise to improve this component of fitness. You can choose between aerobic and anaerobic trainings to provide you with the necessary cardiovascular endurance you need at present. Maybe you can start walking long, then gradually progressing to jogging, and eventually to sprinting. Whatever type of exercise you are interested in, as long as it involves your muscle actions, your heart is pumping extra and is being challenged by this load, causing improvements in this component of fitness.